prophets if they are stoned when they make these prophecies. But anyway. The second thing I want to preface this watch list with, that was pretty bad, I know, but I can't help myself. Pray for me. The second thing I want to preface this watch list with is that they are not in any particular order. In other words, these are just certain prophecies that we would do well to sort of keep our finger on the pulse of and be watching for, because Jesus said that we need to be watching. We need to be watching, and in fact, so that we're not rebuked like Jesus rebuked those of whom he would say, you can discern the weather when you see the clouds, when you see the sky. You can discern it and say, well, rain is coming. And then he rebukes them because they were unable to discern the signs of the times. See, I wonder sometimes, and I've had this conversation with more than one of you, some of you even recently, when you talk to me about how it is that you are sort of marked or known because you come to this church, and it's said of this church to you, oh, you go to that church. And, oh, that's the church that talks about the end times, as if it's a bad thing, or, it's apocalyptic. You know what the word apocalyptic means in the original language of the New Testament? It means unveiling, revealing. I'll never forget the first time I taught through the book of Revelation, I came under harsh criticism from fellow Bible teachers even. Oh, you're teaching the book. Why are you doing that? The book of Revelation is such a hard book to understand. Why would you? And the only answer I could give to them was, well, the book of Revelation is the only book in the entire Bible, of all the 66 books in the Bible, that promises a blessing to those who read it, hear it, and take it to heart. No other book of the Bible promises a blessing to those who study it. Yeah, but it's so symbolic and confusing and hard to understand. Well, wait a minute. Not necessarily. The book of Revelation is a book of revelation. Now, I'll give you a second on that. I know that is deeply profound, but think about this. Revelation? What's a revelation? Oh, it's a revealing, unveiling revelation of that which is about to come. And that's what the book of Revelation is. It's as if God would take the covers off and unveil and reveal the end times prophetic program. I think that you rob a Christian of a tremendous blessing in their Christian lives when you don't teach Bible prophecy. And I think that's really sad. So if ever anybody says to you in a derogatory way and sort of chides you, or maybe even ridicules you or mocks you because you're into the end times, just here's the answer I would give them. Well, maybe someone should have told Jesus that, because Jesus was really into the end times. You know, when I read through the Bible, you know what I find in here? A third of it is prophecy. How do you not teach the Bible and not teach prophecy? By default, if you really teach the whole counsel of God, you're going to teach Bible prophecy. One of the reasons why we do this every Sunday is because of the impact that it has on our Christian lives. First of all, how many people have come to Christ just by virtue of the fact that they learned about Bible prophecies, and they connected the prophetic dots, and they saw what was happening in the world, and they saw what was prophesied in the Word, and they discerned the signs, and they knew what was coming, and it wasn't rain. It was coming to pass exactly as God said it would. And it has a purifying effect on us, does it not? Those who have this hope purify themselves. Now, I'm not trying to necessarily defend what we do here every Sunday morning when we talk about Bible prophecy, but I am trying to explain, not excuse, explain sort of apologetically why it is that we do this. We do this because Jesus said, you need to do this. You need to be watching. Why do you need to be watching? Because when it comes to pass, when the rapture of the church happens at an hour that we don't expect it, if we're watching, it won't catch us off guard. Because we're ready. Why are we ready? Because we've been watching. So to us, it will not be as a thief in the night. You know, I've got a silly little picture in my mind, you know, that I've sort of imagined. And I know they probably have clinical terms for this way of thinking, but I imagine at the rapture, we who are alive and remain are caught up to meet the Lord in the air. The dead in Christ rise first, and all of those lost loved ones that have since passed away that knew Jesus Christ, you will meet them again in the air. And you'll meet the Lord in the air. And the Apostle Paul said, encourage each other with these words. But you know, I imagine this in my mind's eye. I'm going to see you caught up in the air. And you're going to see me caught up in the air. And we're forever going to be with the Lord. But I just imagine this on the way up. I know it's yeah, I know, I already told you. They have clinical terms for this way of thinking. But I just imagine on the way up, yes! You were right. Thank you for telling us every week to get ready. Because this is what we were getting ready for. And it's really happening. And here we are. And here we go. And let's go. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't want the opposite to be true. What's the opposite? The opposite is, I don't want to stand before God. And instead of having him say to me, well done, good and faithful servant, enter in, I don't, when I give an account, want to hear, why did you not speak the truth to my people and feed my sheep? Why did you not teach the whole counsel of God? And so I would be unable to say what the Apostle Paul would say, is that I am free or clean of the blood of all men. I mean, my hands are clean now. My conscience is clean because I have presented to you the whole counsel of God. You know, James says that pastors will be judged by a much higher standard. And that's why, you know, though you desire a noble thing, if you want to enter into a teaching ministry, you better count the cost, because you are responsible now. You enter into a place now where you will have to give an account for what you did with God's holy word. Did you skip some parts that are a little bit of a hard teaching because you wanted people to come back to your church and tithe to your church and give to your building fund? I get an interesting email. I have yet to respond to it. This brother was saying that asking, you know, why is it that churches don't teach Bible prophecy? And then he asked the question, well, he sort of answered the question he was asking by saying, the reason is because it's too controversial and it will scare people. And pastors don't want to scare people away. They want to, you know, have people come back. And they want big churches filled with lots of people. Well, interesting. His next question was, how much has the church at Calvary Chapel, Kaneohe grown since you started teaching Bible prophecy? And I have yet to respond to him, but I'll be happy to report to him on this, our 5-year anniversary, that the Lord has added to this church. And listen, there's nothing wrong with having a healthy fear of God, because it does you'll forgive my way of saying this, and I say this in love, it should